Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in my last video, I did this rough animation in frame by frame using pose to pose method. I appreciate everybody watching. That video's done really well. And I really like how this kind of turned out. So I thought I would spend some time cleaning this up and showing how I would go about that to kind of, get this kind of polished looking. And I was originally going to do this and I changed my mind, but I think I will try to have a little Batman look to this. So let me get started with that. So I'm picking up where I left off. I haven't changed anything since the end of the last video. So I do want to make some minor adjustments. So I'm going to go to edit mode and I've got this first pose and I'm going to left click and drag to select everything. I'll hit G and then Z to bring it down. I'm going to go back to draw mode and if I hit play, I felt like he was starting too tall for where he ended up, but you can see I have a jump right here. I want to left click and drag to select those keyframes and hit delete. Then play again. So I'm actually going to go to onion skinning. I'm going to turn these up to 50. Now you can see the opacity is all the way up. I want to scroll in and I can see where he's starting. And you see it jumps there. So I'm going to let go. I'm going to go to edit mode, left click and drag to select that. I'll hit GZ to bring it down a little. I'm actually going to decrease frames after. So now I'm just looking at the starting point. So I'm going to grab that, hit G, and bring it over. Then we'll go to the next one. I'll hit G to bring that a little over. I want to make this a little more dynamic. Go to the next keyframe, grab that, bring it over with G. G to bring that over. We'll grab this and bring it to the right to kind of widen that up. So now I've got that. Select all of it. Hit G to bring that over and down. Bring that down to match the last one. Hit G to bring that over. Hit G and bring that down just a little. There, the last keyframe. G and bring that down with the starting position. Okay, I'm going to go back to draw mode. Let's see what that looks like. I may go to this keyframe. I'm going to grab all of these, hit G, and drag them to the right one. And we'll play again. I want to tighten up his standing up too. So I'm going to left click and drag with the playhead at 26. Now hit scale, bring those in just a bit. See what that looks like. Let me bring him in a little bit more, so scale. Okay, I think him standing up could be smoother, but we'll start with this. Okay, so I'm going to go to my layers and hit plus, and I've already got lines. I want to double click on lines and change that to roughs. And I'm also going to hit this lock icon to lock it. So I want to double click on the new layer and change it to polish. Actually, I want to unlock this, and with rough selected, I want to bring this opacity down a bit. And then I'll lock that again, then go back to polish. I'm also going to lock reference, even though it's turned off. So I'll use this as my guide. So I'll probably draw the figure first, and then I will deal with the cape, because honestly, I'm not sure I'm going to handle that. And my trick to drawing Batman, if there is a trick, if I'm even good at it, is to always darken the underneath of the eyes. I think it just adds something to the look. I'm going to try not to add a lot of detail here because I'll have to carry that on with every frame, and that might be difficult. Again, I'm not going to like show a lot of the muscle and things like that. His head might be too big, so I'm going to go to edit mode, grab that, hit scale to bring it down a little bit, and I got some of that line with it. So let me change this to points mode. I'm going to grab this, hit S to bring it down, G to pull it down a little bit, go back to draw mode. Okay, I think I may regret this later. I'm going to add a layer. I'm going to change it to cape. You know what? I'm just going to merge these two. So I'm going to select cape, hit this button here, and click merge down. So now those are on the same one. Okay, this might have to do for now. Let me go back to rough. So let me go to the next frame. So for polish, I'm going to hit I to add a keyframe. Insert blank keyframe, active layers. You can see the onion skinning's back on. Let's see what that looks like. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, we'll turn back on roughs and go to the next frame. I can tell that's too big, so I'm going to go to edit mode, circle this, hit scale, bring it down a little, hit G to grab it, bring it over, go back to draw mode. And his head might still be too large, so I'm going to hit S again. Do that. Let me go to draw mode. Okay, I'm actually going to grab this drawing, hit Control. I'll go to the next keyframe, hit Control V, drop it, hit G to bring it down. So I'm going to turn off rough so we can see what that's doing. So here we are. So I'm going to hit rotate to rotate that down a little bit. Then we'll go back to draw mode, and I'm going to erase this hand, and I'll extend that arm out. So let's play that. We pause and we'll go back to that frame. Go back to edit mode and select everything. I'll rotate that a little bit more. Bring it down and over a bit. I may even hit scale Z. No, let me undo that. Scale Z. See how that looks. Okay, I'm not sure I'm happy with that, but let's go to the next keyframe. Turn back on roughs. So the next one is the throw. So now if I was really polishing this, I'd probably bring in a fill material and fill this in rather than do it by hand. But I'm mainly just concerned about getting a little bit of shadow on that face, and it probably doesn't look great, but let's see what this looks like. Let me turn off polish and see. Okay, so he's down, so let me turn back on polish. Okay, we'll go to the next one. See him coming up. And I'm just getting this in. I could always go back and, add some shadows, things like that, erase some things. I could even add in what he's throwing. I haven't really addressed that. So you notice I'm keeping, even though he's turned and all that, I'm keeping the shadow on the left side of him, which is where we started originally. And even though this layer is called polish, you can clearly see it's not. I have never done a good job of being very clean with my line work, and I want to be. I'm not. Let's give me a play on this. For some reason, that one got copied here. So let me delete that. Let me turn back on roughs. So that's him coming up. The head's probably a little large, so I'm going to go to edit mode, select that, hit scale to bring it down just a little bit. So let me go, actually I want to get G and bring it down a bit. Let me go to draw mode. And I kind of want his cape wrapped around him now. Then we'll go to the next frame. Okay, I'll go to edit mode again, select that, hit scale to bring that in a little, G to bring it down. Draw mode. Pure noise in the background is my cat bathing because she has no respect for YouTube. Okay, now we'll go to last frame. Okay, we'll go to edit mode and grab the top of his head. Hit G to bring that down just a little. I think it's a little tall. Go back to draw mode. See that it didn't mess our lines up too much. And we'll go back to edit mode, select this, hit scale to bring it down, G to grab it. Go back to draw mode. Okay, let's play this and see what it looks like. I'm going to turn off roughs. Okay, say I wanted to color this in, and I probably won't show this whole process, but I would show you the options. So I'm going to go to Material tab over here. I'm going to click plus, New, and I'm going to change this to blue. I'm going to turn off Stroke by unchecking this box and turn on Fill. And I'm going to scroll up here and pick a blue. I don't want that to have a lot of saturation, so try that. So then I would go to my Layers tab, and I would click on Rough and then hit plus to create a layer beneath Polish. I want to double click that, change it to blue. Next, let me go back to Materials, double click on blue and change it to Body Blue. Now, I may not know if this is the right blue or not, but using these materials, I can change this color later if I want to. So I want to draw in here. Okay, he's actually a little lighter there, so I'm going to, let's see, click on here, and I'm going to bring that color down a bit. So I want to bring it up a little bit and then kind of desaturate it a little more, like that. And then he's a little darker, so I'm going to hit the plus symbol here. I'm going to click New, turn off Stroke, turn on Fill, move this up a little bit. And then I'm going to go back to my Layer tab, and just to keep these separate, I'm going to double click on this and change it to Body. And then we'll click plus to add another one, double click on it and change it to Cowl and Cape. And we'll bring this in. Now I'm going to color this in. Okay, I can tell right now these colors aren't going to work, but since I can change them later, I'll go ahead and fill this in with them and then adjust it as I go. Okay, I'll click on Body Material. I'm going to double click on this one and name it Cowl and Cape. I'm going to click on Body, and I'm going to make that a little less purple. For what we're doing, that's probably good. So I'm going to go back to Cowl and Cape. I'll make sure I'm on the Cowl and Cape layer. Finish coloring this in. And again, I'm just using the pencil tool with the fill option enabled on the material. You can see since the Cowl and Cape layer is above the body layer, I can overlap the body layer and the Cowl and the Cape layer will be on top. Now, one problem obviously with frame by frame animation is I want to go through and color all these frames, which, you know, considering how limited the animation is, maybe that's not a big deal. So I'll click on the body material and the body layers. I can just be messy with this because I know the cape's on top of it. So I'm going to click plus to add another layer. I'm going to click New, double click and change that to Belt. Turn off Stroke, turn on Fill, bring this up and choose a brown. You can see down here at the legs, I didn't really try to, address the legs much. I was mainly worried about the torso and the head. So I can always adjust that later. So we'll go to the Materials tab, hit plus to add one more, click New, double click to name it Skin. Turn off Stroke, turn on Fill, change this to a skin color for him. And before I do that, I'm going to Layer, hit plus, Change that to skin. And I want it beneath the cowl and the cape because the skin's beneath the cowl and the cape. And I'm going to click plus to add one more, and I'm just going to change that name to white. Or I could say eyes. Turn off stroke, turn on fill. I'm going to turn this to kind of a gray, very light gray. Then we'll hit plus and change this to eyes. So now I've got an eyes layer. So that's how I would color him. You know, I'd consider going back and let me try this. I'm going to click on the polish. I'm going to double click and name that lines. With my erase tool, I'm going to erase this shadow. And I'm also going to go to my solid stroke and I'm going to draw this in a little better. Okay, now if I wanted to, I could go to the layers, click plus and have this beneath my line work and change this to shadow. And then I'm going to go to the materials, hit plus to add a new one, click new, change that to shadow. And we'll turn on the fill and turn off the stroke. And then under style, I'm going to leave it solid, black. Then we'll go back to the layers menu and with shadow selected, I'm going to change blend mode to multiply. And now I can just draw these shadows in if I want. And I can change the opacity of that a bit. So the shadows are coming from, if the sunlight's coming from the top left, I could like bring the shadows in here. So for a really quick coloring job, that's how I would do that. So the other thing I could do would be like to throw a batarang, or if you had some of those exploding balls you sometimes see him use, and then I could maybe have an explosion off screen that like flashes yellow. I may do that, like change the color as they explode. So I will probably not talk, but I'll record the process of me adjusting this and coloring this, and I may do the explosion thing. And then, you know, the process would be exactly the same as here. I'm just adding layers of colors beneath the line work. And hopefully this will turn out well. I don't know where I'm going from here, so I hope you'll stick around to see how it ends. So thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.